Morning. Apologies for the dodgy sound and the video this morning. I'm probably going to be really shaky. I do apologise. I thought I'd bring you a quick update. So it's now August, getting towards the end of August 2022. Apologies, I haven't loaded anything up this year. I did film a couple of things over Christmas, door seals and whatnot on the Defender, and some cranked arms. I might see what footage I've managed to get. To be honest, my camera played up halfway through, so it's not really much of a video. Not that my videos are, but still. Sorry about the sunlight, by the way. Yeah, so where have I been? I have started a new job. So I worked for my previous company for 15 years, and it just got too much. So, you know, I was working 50, 60 hour weeks and whatnot. So anyway, so where have I been? I've started a new job, basically. I was at my previous company for 15 years, and it's been quite, you know, a bit of a move. It's the same field, but you know, it's when you're used to something every day and day in, day out, it's quite the difference when, you know, you seem to be, you know what you need to do, but nothing's in the right places. It's almost like being blind. Anyway, so yeah, apologies for not uploading anything. It is literally just been mainly that. I haven't done much on the Land Rover since the start of the year. I took it off the road for about 6 months last year because it had an issue with the vacuum on the engine, which I probably will upload some videos of that. That was a 5-hour job, replacing the vacuum pump on the engine. But the reason for this update, not just to tell you where I've been, but really I've decided to take out the OM606 out the Land Rover. To be honest, I've tried to refine it as much as I can, and it just, I don't know whether it's me being a bit of a perfectionist or what, but I've never really been 100% happy with it. I don't know whether it's a bit of the fear because I put the engine in myself, or what, but the engine's obviously, well, as I say, obviously the engines are high revving, and I don't think they're particularly well suited to this, well, to my Land Rover. It's mated to a Range Rover gearbox, an auto ZF gearbox, and to be honest, that's given me all my problems. So you've obviously seen a few updates if you follow me on social media, where I've been on the back of the trucks and stuff, and it's all been gearbox related. The engine itself, apart from getting a bit warm on hills, it's actually been pretty faultless. You know, it's got plenty of power, etc. But I just feel that the gearbox and engine combination doesn't suit my Land Rover. I've got a 1.4 transfer box, and it just feels very revvy for not a lot of go, if that makes sense. But I think that's mainly the gearbox. Like I say, I think the gearbox has been a major down point. So, bit of an update. I've decided to take it out, and the reason I've decided to take it out is because on a couple of weeks ago I went to go camping in it, and I ended up doing a 22-hour day because it broke down twice. The first time it was getting a bit warm anyway. It was about 27 degrees on the day, so it was, it wasn't a cool day. The engine was getting a bit warm on the hills on the M6, and it was basically, I could see the temperatures creeping up, and it'd been the first time I've used it in about 4 months. So I pulled over, let it cool down, etc. And then just on the A14, it basically just cut out at 70 mile an hour, and I was, you know, well, I'd say 70. Very optimistic there. No, it cut out about 65 miles an hour, and I just lost all power. And where it cut out was on the A14 with no slip road, no hard shoulder. So I had to nurse it along to I nursed it along to a slip road, coasted basically to a slip road, and it was quite a dodgy situation. I had to get the police out to close the road because the RAC were absolutely useless. It took 20 minutes to get through to them. The police then towed me to a truck stop that was local, and I fixed the problem within about 8 minutes. And what it was the vacuum operated stop solenoid, which the Mercedes has a pull to stop solenoid on it, so you could wire a cable in, but I tried to do it, you know, a bit more refinement and have it work off the engine vacuum. The solenoid, the switch that switches the vacuum onto the stop solenoid, had basically given in because of the heat in the engine bay. I think they're actually, I'm not sure whether it's an exhaust gas recirculation valve, but it just didn't like it in the warm engine bay, so it went pop. Unfortunately, it went pop in the stop position, so it just cut all fuel to the engine. But I bypassed that. You know, I worked out that that's what the cause was. Very relatively easy. I just pulled the pipe off it and it started. And I then bypassed it. So that whole ordeal, waiting for the police, road closures, towing, etc., and the repair took about an hour and a half. So, and then I carried on down south. So I was heading down to Essex way to meet up with some friends, and I got another 100. Well, yeah, I got about another 80 miles, and the car started making what sounded like a belt slipping, and I thought, well, you know, engine's got a bit warm, the belt's expanded, it's probably just a belt slipping. So I pulled over at the services, but as I got to the services, the traffic was bad in the area, and it was more apparent that it was more of a knocking noise, like a very high-pitched knocking noise. And I'm not sure exactly what it is at the moment. I think it's something to do with the bell housing stroke flywheel area. I can't update any further at this point. I've had an inspection camera in there and I can't see anything. You know, everything looks all good. But yeah, so I've decided the only way to investigate what's happening properly is to pull the engine or gearbox, but the engine would be better for me. And I've decided that I'm not going to bother putting it back in. I don't particularly. It sounds fantastic. I mean, Rich Torn put a video on. He put a little clip in one of the last camps of the woods, and it sounded absolutely fantastic driving away. But as soon as it gets warm, it's just, I'm constantly looking at the gauges. and you know, it's a big engine, it's a 6-cylinder, and mated to the auto box, it's very far forward in the engine bay, a little bit too far forward and uncomfortable for me. So I've decided that I'm going to go with a different engine configuration, depending on what I find from the auto box when I take it across, when I take it apart. I've not decided what I'm doing with that yet. I don't know what condition that's in. The actual box that's in there is, I really apologise for this sunlight, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm trying to maximise my time whilst driving. I've got a big full day today. Yeah, so the actual box itself is hybrid Range Rover P38 D1 and D2. So it's a V8 box, I think, and it's been modified to run mechanically rather than electrically from the actual P38 bit. So it should be made of good stuff, but I don't know how well it's been done. Anyway, yeah, so depending on what I find there, I would like to keep that, because when it does work, it drives so nice around streets and stuff. When you will be up and down gears normally in the Defender, you know, just around normal street traffic, it drives absolutely fantastic, and it drives really well off road as well. You know, it just pulls itself along, and you're just tickling the throttle. But obviously, when it gets up to motorway speeds, which is 9 times out of 10 what I'm doing on the way to a camp, it's not very pleasant, you know. But again, I think that's more to do with the ratios and the fact that it's a V8 box on a basically a screaming 6-cylinder. Anyway, so I think I'm gonna go down the route of putting a V8 in it. I'm in two minds. I might just recondition the original engine. I've still got that. I might recondition the original engine and gearbox and put that back in, or I'd like to keep it auto. I'd like to keep it auto because I like it. You know, Rich, that came on a recommendation from Rich, because he's had auto Defenders for some time, and I can't fault his, input. Anyway, so I've decided I think I'm probably going to go down the V8 route. I've got in my garage, and I've had it for quite some time, I've got a factory replacement or a warranty replacement 4.6 from a P38 Range Rover, and it's got 17,000 miles on the clock. So I think what I'm going to do is try and put that in as factory as possible. Obviously the gearbox is already mainly P38, I think. So I'm going to do a bit of, if that's in good condition, I'm going to do a bit of, frigging, see what can get that to work properly, but a bit better with the V8 torque, and with the rest of it, I'm going to try and keep it, stock Land Rover parts. That was another thing that I was constantly worried about when I did do the conversion. I was very, really, I want to be able to drive this thing all up and down the country. I needed more power. That was the reason why I went for the OM606. The power on my engine was down, which is why I went for a bigger engine. The 606 came up for a good price, and that was the way I decided to go with it. So I definitely need more power. My 300 TDI was tired. So anyway, so that's what I've decided. I think I'm going to go for this 4.6. Like I said, I've got it. It's minimal cost to me. It's factory to the gearbox that I want to use, and you can get, not necessarily Defender, but you can get all the parts from the Land Rover stable to make it fit. You know, on the 606 everything was custom made, from the exhaust, the throttle linkage, cooling, everything, even this power steering was all custom made by me. Whereas the Range Rover engine you can get to fit with standard parts. I want to keep it injection because I want some refinement. You know, I'm a big fan of carburetors, but I want reliability. And I'd like to try and incorporate the OBD2 port if I can, so I can, you know, plug in and see what it's doing, rather than just try and use science. So that's it really. That's as much as I can report. Apologies that, you know, the I haven't really been keeping up to date on my channel. It's just been one of those. Life gets in the way. I haven't really been doing much on the Defender anyway, because I haven't really had much free time. And when I have come to use it, it's played up again. So there you go. It's life, isn't it? So yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to do a bit of a video soon, I think, with the differences and the little tricks and tips to putting the 606 in. I missed a trick with that. When I put the 606 in the car, I didn't actually have, you know, the YouTube channel, so I think I missed a bit of a trick with that. You know, there was a load of pitfalls to fall into. I'm actually selling it as a package, so people shouldn't really fall into the same pitfalls as I did. I've actually got someone coming to look at it tonight, so hopefully if they have the engine and package, then I will hopefully be able to start moving with the new build. But yeah, so what I do want to do, I'll probably do a quick, you know, it might just be a quick couple of snippets on my phone while I'm taking it out. You know, this is a throttle linkage, this is a common problem, here's how I got around it. You know, this is cooling distances, etc. You know, control. This is just an idea of how I did things, because I've never really done that on the car, and I think I missed a bit of a trick there, because it's quite a popular conversion, but not many people, you know, there's not a great in-depth detail how to actually do it. So anyway, right, I need to get shifting with my day, but thank you for watching. Again, if you can give us a like, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you soon, hopefully with a bit more techie stuff, and then hopefully a bit more using it. But anyway, thanks for watching, take care.